what is, surprisingly, safe for human consumption. Yule gibbons. Many parts of the pine tree are edible. I'm going to combine every ingredient mentioned in here into one hearty meal and see what happens. A whole box of Nivea cream apparently. I ate an entire box of Nivea cream when I was a toddler and the only after effect was that my poop smelled nice for a while. Had a severely alcoholic patient drink 2 large bottles of mouthwash, Listerine etc. every day for about 15 years. You'd think nearly 10,000 bottles of mouthwash would kill a man, but no. At least, not very quickly. You can eat everything inside of a natural beehive, including the bees. Just don't get stung. When I had my gallbladder removed a few months ago, the doc told me, apropos of nothing, I could eat the stones they let me keep. I mean, I guess they're mostly cholesterol, so it makes sense. Some indigenous tribes eat clay in small amounts due to the minerals and texture. Caffeine. That stuff plants evolved to make it so nothing could eat them. It kills *most other creatures. Meanwhile us humans are like Zoom. Ballistal. It's a general purpose oil for lubrication and rust protection, and can be used for metal, wood, and leather. It's completely safe to drink, and it even smells like licorice. Some packing peanuts are actually made out of cornstarch. They're coarse and produced in a food-safe environment, and all of the nutritional components like sugars are removed so as not to attract bugs. But yeah, most styrofoam peanuts are edible. The ones that aren't made of cornstarch, though, are made of polystyrene, a petroleum-based plastic. So definitely do your research before you decide to sample some packing peanuts. Petroleum jelly. Small amounts have been used as laxative and stool softener. Charcoal. Well, not the one you'd buy for BBQs, but medical charcoal has a similar composition and is not only safe, but awesome at cleaning up some unfortunate gastrointestinal interlopers. Edit, and as others below have pointed out, it will also slap up the good stuff such as medication. Animals with rabies. Just avoid the saliva glands in that general area. Source: asked our virus professor, because a fellow student took a bite out of a dead raccoon. Methylene blue. Though it'll make your pee turn blue. Shellac. Yes, the stuff they use to seal wood. It's used in everything from fingernail polish to candy. It's secreted by a bug. Yummy. Bismuth. The active ingredient in Pepto-Bismol. Look it up. It is a pretty rock. The little stickers on the fruit you buy in the store. Even the glue for them are FDA approved. According to my grandfather, who passed at 88, Vicks Vapo Rub. Packing peanuts according to everyone trying to get me to eat one. Funnily enough, the red berries of a yew tree. The seeds, contained inside of the berries, the needles, the branches and the roots are all deadly poisonous, but the berries are sweet and edible. I recommend not eating them, because if you bite on the seed contained within it is bad news. Edit, exchange the word so with a Pokeweed is edible if cooked properly. I remember my Bill's dad made poke salad. He said the idea is to cook most of the poison out, but leave enough for your lips to tingle. Edit, my sister is the one married to Bill, and his father is now deceased. I don't claim to know how to properly cook it, but the general consensus in the comments are 1. You only want young poke, the toxins build up with the age of the plant. 2. You want the leaves, not the roots. 3. You have to boil the poke several times, throwing out the water each time, to cook out the toxins. The tingle I mentioned apparently manifests as really bad pain in uncooked/undercooked, caused by said toxins. This is by far the most likes I've ever gotten on Reddit, so thanks to everyone so much DD. Tulips. Dandelions can make a great tea. Gold. I'm reading this thread like I'm looking for dinner tips or something. Stinging nettles. Oddly enough, gallium up to certain weight, and a decent amount at that. Please advise, this is not a recommendation to eat it. Do your own research and make your own decisions. I do not advocate for the consumption of gallium. Most venom can be safely digested if you don't have any open wounds in your mouth and digestive system. Edit. This doesn't mean you should drink venom if you can, or French kiss the next cobra. Don't put toxins in your body. There are better ways to find out if you have open wounds or ulcers in your mouth. High percentage alcohol, for example, or spicy food. Please drink responsibly and only if the area where you live allows it. Too many people die of alcohol poisoning. Edit 2. Now I know what Hank Green feels like. Green crayons. Rust. Avocados are pretty weird when you consider the fact that they are super poisonous to just about every animal that isn't a human. This is gonna be a long one, but dandelions for one. The entire plant. Also good for making an iced tea. Pine needles. They'll taste a bit like bean sprouts, but also good for making tea. Contains vitamin A and C. Birch tree leaves, also good for tea, which will reduce inflammation. It's like an instant Tylenol from my experience. Ground ivy identifies by its strong minty smell. It's basically mint squared. Chicory, those blue flowers that look kinda like daisies. They bloom in like July and August and apparently treat liver and kidney problems as well as cancer apparently. The roots can be dried, roasted, and used essentially to make a chicory coffee. Same with dandelions. Acorns, because of all the tannin contained in them, you'll have to rinse or soak them for 24 hours. Acorns can cure diarrhea in case Pepto-Bismol isn't an option. These can also be roasted and made into coffee. Crab apples, you may have to boil them to get rid of the sour taste. Plantain weed, those leaves you find among grass. When used topically, it'll treat cuts, bites, stings, and ache. Blue spruce trees. Literally the entire tree. One of my great obsessions in life is to think of who was the first person to eat something. Like who was the first to see a white hard thing come out of a chicken and decide to crack it open, see a gooey mess, yet still see what would happen if you heated it up, and after all that, have the balls to eat it. Same goes for mushrooms. Like, did people just keep eating them until they figured out which ones killed you, which ones made you trip balls, and which tasted great with steak? Dog/cat food. The FDA requires pet food to be human grade because during the Depression, so many desperate people died from eating pet food. Adding, I did not expect this to blow up. I have never done extensive research on the topic, but I learned about this in a college level history class. Thank you for the awards and upvotes. I love Reddit for the complete randomness that brings everyone together. Also adding, I am honestly amazed by the amount of people that have ate dog/cat food. I never would have guessed. Kudzu. We see it as a pest when in reality we should be farming the shit. The foliage makes great grazing for animals, and it grows massive 50-pound tubers. Given that it takes almost no effort to grow, it seems like a perfect farm crop. At least chemically speaking, one of the types of plastic my 3D printer can produce things out of. ABS, the stuff they make Legos out of, is toxic, but PBA plat is entirely non-toxic. I imagine it would hurt a lot going through as it has a lot of jagged edges, but technically not going to do much harm if a kid gnaws on it. Insects. Most insects are not only edible, but also very nutritious. On a totally separate note, there was going to be a cloud of locusts here in Brazil. I plan to eat them if they eat the plants. Coca-Cola, that stuff polishes chrome, dissolves calcium, and can clean copper. The skin on a kiwi fruit. Tasty and much easier than peeling. This seems like a potentially dangerous post. Remember people, take everything on Reddit with a grain of salt.